I have a very special story to share from this week, which seems to also fit beautifully with our Parashat. The brothers have been reunited with Yosef, and Yaakov sends the whole family down to Mitzrayim, to their new home in Goshen. But before everyone arrives, he sends Yehuda. ואת יהודה שלח לפניו אל יוסף, להורות לפניו גושנה, ויבוא ארצה Goshen. He sends Yehuda ahead of him to Yosef to point the way before them. So then they came to the region of Goshen. And Rashi tells us that the simple reading of this, lahorot ha'ech yityashev ba, to show him how they are going to settle there. But then Rashi carries on and adds a midrash. Lefanav kodem sheyagia l'shem. Lahorot lefanav letaken lo beit talmud, shemisham tetzeh hora'ah. That Yehuda needs to go down especially to establish a house of learning, a bet midrash from which hora'ah, from which instruction can come. This is the prerequisite for them to be able to settle in their new land. At the end of last week, I got a phone call from a friend who is friends with a family, a wonderful family in Los Angeles, who had a Sefer Torah. This Sefer Torah is 150 years old. It was in Poland. It survived the Shoah. It was in Israel for many decades, then in a shul in New York. And it has now been done up, renovated, refurbished, kashered in Los Angeles. And the family were looking for a place to donate this Sefer Torah, which would be appropriate for the current moment that they are living through. And they asked me, could I find anyone? So I sent it out to a number of networks, including my machzor from the yeshiva, machzor lamed zayin, to ask if anybody would think of a place where it could be helpful, perhaps an evacuated yeshuv, perhaps some chayalim. And a friend of mine from the yeshiva wrote back, and he said to me, Joe, we are deep in Gaza. We've been in Gaza for the last 6 weeks, and we don't have a Sefer Torah with us. And we would love one very much. We've had every day of Hanukkah without Kriyat Torah. But we can't promise the family that it will be a safe place for it. We don't have an Aron Kodesh. We don't have a Bet Knesset. And if they prefer a place which is more secure, we understand that. So I sent this back to the family in LA, and the response came, this Sefer Torah survived the Shoah. It will survive Gaza as well. And so on Monday this week, very last minute, we took the Torah down to Zikim, where a member of the unit was coming out. We arranged an impromptu Hachnasat Sefer Torah. We read Parashat Vayigash, and then this beautiful little Torah made its way into Gaza, where it is now with my chevre from Machzor Lamed Zayin. It is accompanying them. They are looking after it. It is looking after them. And I was thinking, this is so special. This Sefer Torah, which has seen so much, which has seen Jewish life in Poland, which has seen the Shoah, which has seen 20th century Israel and America, and is now accompanying us on our next journey. And I was reminded of Rav Amital's phrase, the Ma'amar Chazal, the statement of our sages, which he would often quote, Olam banui, olam charav, olam banui, a world built, a world destroyed, and a world rebuilt. And that phrase is said initially about Noach and Daniel and Eov, these people, these biblical characters who saw 3 worlds. And Rav Amital said, this is me as well, that I lived a very long life in a very short space of time. I saw Jews taken to Auschwitz. I saw Jews dancing at the declaration of the state. I saw Jews fighting in Suez. And I thought of that this week because I think that our generation, those who did not see the Shoah, those who did not see 1948 or 1967 or even 1973, we might have been able to think that we come after Jewish history. We have these great stories of our teachers, those who came before us, who really were a part of Jewish history. But we come after. But the events of the last 2 months have reminded us that, in fact, we are still a part of Jewish history. That history is still happening and we still need to struggle and fight and hold dear and true to our values and sacrifice for them. And this little Sefer Torah, which came from the old world into the new world, is now accompanying us. Yehuda goes down before his family to establish Beit Torah in their new land. The Torah accompanies Am Yisrael on their journeys, on their new destinations, the Torah in the metaphorical sense, and this week, a huge zchut for us, the Torah in the physical sense as well. Shabbat Shalom.